The diner was buzzing with noise that evening. The clatter of dishes, the hiss of the grill, the faint sound of country music from an old radio in the corner. But in one quiet booth, a man in a worn-out jacket and dusty jeans sat alone, silently watching everything around him. His name was Darius Cole, but no one in that diner knew that the man sitting there, pretending to be just another customer, was actually the owner of the entire restaurant chain. He wasn't there for food. He was there for truth. For months, Darius had received anonymous complaints about mistreated staff, missing paychecks, and customers leaving angry. He didn't want to rely on polished reports or fake smiles anymore. So he decided to go undercover, to see his business from the eyes of the people who worked the hardest and got the least credit. The bell above the door jingled, and a waitress hurried over, her hair tied back and her eyes tired but kind. Her name tag read Ellie. "Welcome to Sonny's Diner," she said softly. "You look like you've had a long day. Can I get you something warm?" Her voice carried a kindness that caught Darius off guard. "Yeah," he replied, forcing a small smile. "Maybe a slice of pie. Whatever's best here." "Apple's the favorite," she said with a hint of pride. "Fresh from the oven." He nodded. "Apple it is." A few minutes later, Ellie came back with the slice. Golden crust, sugar sparkling under the light, steam rising. But before Darius could take a bite, he saw something strange. Ellie's hand trembled slightly as she set the plate down, and when the manager passed by, she flinched. That didn't sit right with him. He decided to stay and watch. As Ellie took orders and served customers, the manager, a burly man named Rick, barked orders and insults. "Move faster, Ellie." "You think I'm paying you to smile?" When she dropped a glass, he snarled, "You break it. It's coming out of your check." Darius felt his jaw tighten. He took a deep breath and looked around. The other waitresses avoided eye contact. Even the cook looked defeated. Something was very wrong here. Finally, Darius took a bite of his pie. For a moment, the taste was perfect, until his fork hit something hard. He frowned and pulled it out. It was a folded note, wrapped in plastic to stay clean. His heart thudded. He unfolded it. The note said, "If you're reading this, please help us. We can't take it anymore. The manager takes our tips and screams at us. We're scared to lose our jobs." Darius froze. He looked up and locked eyes with Ellie, who stood across the counter watching him with quiet fear. Their eyes met, and in that instant, she knew he knew. He folded the note slowly, placed it beside the plate, and stood up. Rick, the manager, swaggered over. "Everything good, buddy?" "Pie's our special recipe." Darius stared at him, voice low but calm. "You call this your special recipe?" "Because I just found a note baked inside it," Rick blinked. "What note?" Darius handed it to him. Rick opened it, and his face went pale. I don't know how that got in there. Probably some stupid prank." "Really?" Darius said, his voice steady but sharp. "Because the handwriting looks like someone desperate for help." The room fell silent. Customers turned to watch. The air was thick enough to choke on. Darius took a step forward. "I own this place." Rick's eyes widened. You what?" "I own this diner," Darius repeated. "And every other Sonny's diner in this state. I've been watching. I've seen the way you talk to your staff. I've seen how scared they are of you. And now I see what they've had to do just to be heard." Rick tried to speak, but Darius cut him off. "You're done here." He turned to Ellie, whose eyes were welling with tears. "You," he said gently, "you're not in trouble. You just saved a lot of people today." Rick was escorted out that evening, shouting excuses that no one believed. When the dust settled, Darius gathered the staff in the diner. "You all deserve better," he said. "Starting tomorrow, pay raises. Real breaks. And anyone who's been mistreated, I'll make it right." Ellie finally spoke up, her voice trembling. "We were scared, sir." "We thought nobody cared." Darius smiled faintly. "I care because I was where you are once. I started as a dishwasher. I know what it's like to be ignored." The room went quiet again, this time not from fear, but from relief. Weeks later, the diner was buzzing again, not from stress, but from life. Laughter replaced shouting. Ellie was promoted to shift leader. And the note that started it all? Darius kept it framed in his office right above his desk, as a reminder. Because sometimes the biggest problems aren't in the numbers or reports. They're in the hearts of the people you forget to listen to. And that day, one undercover bite of pie changed everything. True leadership isn't about power or profit. It's about people. Sometimes all it takes to save a workplace is one person brave enough to speak up and another willing enough to listen.